Okay, let's talk a little bit about naming things. Okay, so I sent this out, and so let's walk through a couple of the things. Okay, so this is something that I want you to take a second and write down because you will be using these prefixes a lot today. So prefix with one carbon is meth, two carbons is s, three is prop, four is bute, five is pent, six is hex, seven is hept, eight is oct, nine is non, and 10 is des. Okay, so literally we will be using this a ton. So please, 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 please write them out. All right, so when we're talking about alkalines, these are the ones that are going to have the ane endings. So remember that everything is named for what they are, right? So these are the least complex. They use the prefix for the number of carbons and the ane as the ending, okay? So it can be recognized as their general formula, which would be CnH2n plus 2, and N would be the number of compounds. For example, if we have, for instance, I guess it says it right here. So if we have five carbons, right, and then we're going to times that by two, so 5 times 2 equals 10. Then we're going to add the 2, that'd give us 12. So then this would end up giving us the total number of hydrogens, et cetera, and carbons. All right, so basically, yes, so we just need to follow that formula. Okay, so it has five carbon atoms, and then we know that the hydrogens would be 12. Okay, so when we're looking at oh, I guess the already solutions are here. Sorry. When we're looking at these following compounds, we have CH4, and there's only one carbon atom. So with only one carbon atom, that's going to be meth, and it ends in ane. So it's going to be methane. The second one, all right, the second one here, I just had to catch myself and re-record. So see, this says or, so let's not count all of the carbons together. So this is two carbons, right? Two carbon six, because that follows that little guy, or one, two. So if we have two carbons, that's going to be F, right? So that's going to be ethane. For the option C, we have um, three carbons here, or one, two, three. Three is going to be prop, so that's propane. And then this last one, there are four carbons, or you can write it longhand, one, two, three, four, but four carbons right there is going to be the butane. Okay, so again, alkanes are pretty easy, and this is that just general formula. You can work it backwards and figure out how many hydrogens there are versus carbons. Forwards is easier for me, but that's that. All right, so then when we go to our alkanes, okay, or alkenes, I'm sorry, this is going to be where you have that ene ending. So they are the hydrocarbons that contain unsaturated. So remember, unsaturated means that we're going to have at least one double bond, okay? So it's generally formula, the written formula is going to be CnH2n. Um, and so then again, N would be the number of hydrogen or of carbon atoms in the compound. And we're going to be using that ene ending. The double bond is stronger than that single bond. And so the bond length between the carbon atoms is shorter than the double bond. Okay. Um, this is the naming gets a little bit more complex because the double bond can pair in different areas. And so you have to tell it where to go. And so what you're going to do is that, and this is important because this will come back and, it caught me on a couple of them, but you are going to label it so that the carbon is the lowest number possible used to describe that double bond. So you want to say that the lowest number of the two carbons involved in the double bond is used in front of the double bonded carbon. That was the most confusing sentence ever. The number is placed at the beginning and the name is separated with a dash. Okay, so when we look at these formulas below, okay, let's figure out how many carbons we have. We have two carbons, right? So we have two carbons. And so using that handy dandy little chart, they are going to tell you that that is going to be the ethylene. Okay, and so let's write this down. ethene. This one, and again, there's just only one spot where those carbons can go because there's only two carbons, okay? This one, there are three carbons, and the carbon or the double bond is between the second and the third carbon. But remember, we need to do the lowest probable number or the lowest number. So we have, this would then be flipped, okay? So you're going to have the carbon, double bond, carbon, carbon, okay? So we have three carbons, and that's going to be propene. And then since we had to flip it, this becomes one propene because it's telling us that that double bond is here, okay? For this guy, we have four carbons, and so that is going to end up being the bute, okay? And we have the carbon or the double bond there in that first one. And so that is going to be one butene. Okay. Let's do D up here so we have more area. So this one is four carbons. So that is going to be again bute. But you see how this one is between the second and third carbon, so then that becomes the 2-bute, okay, because it's between the second and the third carbon. Now, again, remember we have to make this at the lowest common carbon or the lowest numbered carbon. And so then when we're looking at E, did I skip D? I did. Nope, we did. So E is going to be five carbons. Okay, so I know that that is going to be pentane or pent. But again, if we count our carbons, we have one, two, three, four double bonds. So then we have to flip it. Okay, so then that ends up giving us our one pentene. Okay, because again, we had to do that flippy floppy. Okay, so hopefully that's helping. So again, that is the work through, but we just did them together. Okay. When we're looking at our alkenes, what we're going to do is we have a YNE ending. And so this is where we have a triple bond between two carbon atoms. And so since we are going to have that triple bond, we are going to do the carbons and the hydrogens. So when we have the number of carbons, we're going to times that by 2 and then minus 2 in order to figure out how many hydrogens we have. So just as in the other alkene family, the position of that triple bond is going to be specified with a number at the beginning. Okay, so this one has two carbons. So I know that two carbons means that we are going to be meth. Okay, this one is one, two, three, four, five, six carbons, right? So that one is going to be hex. Okay, one, two, three, four, five, six. So that's going to again be hex. One, two, three, four, five, six. So for D, again, we're going to have X, hex. This one again is hex. And this one again is hex. Okay. Now, so this is what really makes it important to pay attention to where those double bonds are. So remember, you're going to name it depending on which double bond it's between. Okay. So with with A, it's only methionine because, or I'm sorry, yeah, it's only ethylene because it's the two carbons, and that is the only way that it can be named because there's no other way that that double bond can go in there. For with B, we have the triple bond after that first carbon. So this becomes one hexene. Okay. This one is between 1, 2, and 3. So this would become two hexene. This one is between 1, 2, 3, and 4. So this becomes three hexene. And then this one is 1, 2, 3, 4, but look, there's less carbons on this side, so we have to flip. So this ends up being 2 hexene, YNE, okay? And then this one is again 1, 2, 3, 4, but there's two carbons on this side, so we have to again flip it. And so that's gonna again be one hexene. because it ends up being on the first carbon. Okay, so again, here are your solutions so that you can take a gander at those and make sure that we are doing okay. Um, so then when we look at doing this nomenclature, right, the worksheet, so we're going to draw these, okay? So looking at our prefixes, ethylene, I know that I have 2 carbons, right? Propane, I have 3 carbons, etc. A decade, I have 10 carbons. Propylene, I have 3 carbons, etc. Okay, so with our ethylene, we have 2 carbons and it ends in ane, ethane. Sorry, I keep pronouncing it wrong. So we have our 2 carbons. We know that we don't have any double bonds because of how it's named. And so we need to know that each carbon has 3 friends, again, because there are no double bonds. Okay, cool. All right, 2 propane, again, no double bonds. So we're going to have our 3 carbons, and then each is going to have as many friends, the 4 friends, right? Good. Now, decane, again, we're ending in ane so that we know that there are no double bonds. So we're just going to have 10 carbons, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then this one's going to be, again, hydrogen, 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 right? Because again, no double bonds. And you can tell because, again, it's ending in ane, okay? Okay. Uh, for number 4, that's for propine, right? And that's a YNE. So that means that we are going to have a triple bond. Okay, so then that means that we're going to have that. Remember, we're going to have that double or the bond be the closest to the first carbon that we have, unless it's named elsewise. And so with carbon, it can have 4 friends, so there's 3 right there. So that means that there's only 1 hydrogen there. This guy already has 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then this guy is going to be 3 hydrogens. Okay, so hydrogen, hydrogen, hydrogen. All right, when we go to 3-octine, this one is going to be that again, we have a triple bond there. And so we're going to be a carbon, 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 triple bond, carbon, 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 carbon. And then you can go in and fill all the extra hydrogens in there. Okay. This propene, this one again it's kind of redundant because it can be named different ways. So this one is going to be just again kind of 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Um, when we have 2 nonylene, the ene here means that where there's going to be a double bond where on that second carbon. So it's going to be carbon, carbon, double bond, carbon, 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 right? Um, the same with this one. This one is no double bonds, no double bonds. Nonylene is going to be 1 triple after carbon 4. Okay, so that will give you kind of a little bit of a way to think about things, right? Um, and yeah, so hopefully this is helpful. Again, it's just the rest of them is going through figuring out where those double bonds are. But hopefully it was helpful. And yeah, let me know if we need any more help. All right, thanks. Bye-bye.